feel safe here, and I know that the people I'm surrounded by love where they live and they care about each other.
The other day, I had my car break down in the middle of the road, and after like 10 seconds, 3 people jumped out of their cars and helped it push onto the side of the road, so I thought that was pretty awesome.
It's a good place to live, a good place to work, a good place to raise a family.
I think my favorite part about living in Lacey is how active everyone is and how outdoorsy everyone is.
I like the people, and it's always made me feel at home. It isn't where I grew up, but I've just always kind of felt that I was comfortable here. When I moved to this area, the county had 70,000 people, and when we incorporated, Lacey had about 12,000. Early settlers were farmers, and there wasn't any center for, I would say until after the 1900s started. Then it was called Woodland at that time, and when they decided to create a post office, they applied for a name of a post office of Woodland, and they came back and said, no, we've already got a Woodland, so you can't be that, come up with another name. Well, the person that filled out the application was named Lacey. So we said, why not use my name? And he did, and that's where the name Lacey came from. As far as the city part, it became a city in 1966. I worked for the state Supreme Court, and so that was, of course, in the city limits of Olympia. Well, in 1964, I got a telephone call saying, would I come to a meeting of some people that are thinking about incorporating the area. I was the only attorney that lived in Lacey. So we got together and talked about incorporating, and I got out some of my form books and wrote a petition for incorporation. We had an election. It was not successful. But 2 years later, we did it all over again. I got the same petition out, and we changed a few things here or there. Actually, we met in this building. This building was over on Pacific Avenue. It was owned by the fire department, and they let us use it for our first meeting. We met right here in this room, and there were no chairs at that time, so we had to go next door to borrow folding chairs just so the council members could all sit down and talk to each other. When Lacey first became a city, unlike today where there are hundreds of employees of the city of Lacey, we had no employees. We had a mayor, a clerk, a treasurer, a city attorney, and 7 councilmen. Little by little, we began to provide for the necessary city services. But originally, it was just, we were a city in name only. Little did we know when we started the city that it would turn out like it did, but we couldn't have really asked for anything more than what it has become.
Okay, hi, I'm Fraser, and I was mayor and city council member in Lacey I was city council member for 7.5 years, and of that, 5 years I spent as mayor. I was the first woman elected official on the city council and the first woman mayor, so I probably started a trend toward more women in elective office in Lacey. I was appointed to the Lacey City Council in June of 1973, and the city was only 6 or 7 years old then. So the key characteristic of the city was that it was new and sort of like everything was being done for the first time. So we worked on the first permanent land use plan for the city. We adopted the first permanent zoning code for the city. This was huge, the layout of the city. We developed more parks for the area. Everything was new. And developing sort of the social infrastructure of the city was important. There was a nonprofit organization, I think it was called the International Cultural Association or something like that. It was a cultural association that came and helped people sort of get acquainted with each other. That's a very important part of a city, is people knowing each other and having a common life together. So that was a positive thing in the development of the city. And then we worked on intergovernmental relationships, which are very important to the city of Lacey, and Lacey continues to be a leader on intergovernmental relationships. Paving roads and getting small kind of rural roads to be more of an urban arterial was important as Lacey grew and became a city. And putting in sidewalks was important. Believe it or not, there were people who would come to the city council and argue against sidewalks. A very important part of being a new city was creating a new city hall. We built the first city hall, and it was designed by a Lacey architect, Ron Rowe. And Lenny Wilkins, the manager of the Supersonics basketball team, came to the grand opening. They were practicing in Lacey at the time. So he came over and helped cut the ribbon for the new city hall. That was fun. My favorite part of being an elected official was, I think, working with people and making tangible progress on, establishing the future of the city of Lacey and just being part of its growth and development, working with excellent city council members who all cared about the future of the city, excellent staff members who cared about the future of the city. And so I think all that work is paying off with what we have now.
My name is Virgil Clarkson, and I am a citizen of the city of Lacey. I have resided here since 1996, and I have been a member of the City Council since July of 1998. And I have served in that 18-year period, 6 years of it as mayor and 4 years as deputy mayor. At that time, the city of Lacey was just beginning to blossom. Businesses were beginning to move here. The school district was growing, and the military attachment was growing also, complex was growing also. Most people don't know where Lacey is, never heard of it. But they have heard of Olympia. From my perspective, Olympia is a suburb of Lacey. And it is the warm heart of the state of Washington.
I'm Abbot Neil Roth, the present abbot of St. Martin's Abbey since 1993. Oh yes, I remember when City of Lacey wasn't a City of Lacey. And I remember clearly where there was a racetrack for horse track, across the way. That's the meadows where the post office is now and some other buildings. Early on in our history, I don't think too many people know this, St. Martin's monks were the firemen for the area. And we had a fire truck, a red fire truck with a tank on it. And when there was a fire, the monks would, wherever they were, run and get on that truck, and away they'd go and help put a fire out.
St. Martin's was founded in 1894 by a group of Benedictine monks from St. John's Monastery and Abbey in Collegeville, Minnesota. I came to St. Martin's 63 years ago as a high school student. We had a boarding school here at that time, and I can remember there wasn't much here in the city of Lacey. Well, the city of Lacey didn't even exist, I don't think, at that time. As I look back at it today, I think, without being prideful, that St. Martin's University and Abbey is in many ways a great gift to the city of Lacey. The campus is really beautiful, and it's right in the heart of Lacey. And we've always welcomed the community of Lacey to come to the campus to walk on the bridle paths. The years that we had horses on the campus, we have wonderful walking trails. We have a beautifully kept campus. Secondly, I think St. Martin's is an excellent academic and cultural center because of the kinds of activities, the cultural events that we have on campus, both international and national. And then thirdly, I think we're also a spiritual presence for the city of Lacey. And I know if there are several times a day from early morning until the evening hours, you can hear the bells ringing. And the bells are a reminder to all of us that we're calling us all to recognize the presence of the Spirit. I think the residents of Lacey are grateful that we have, to have our presence here, and I hope that we are a blessing to the city of Lacey.
Hello, I'm Rick Walk. I am the Director of Community and Economic Development for the City of Lacey. The City of Lacey has changed a lot since the 60s when it incorporated as a city. And since I've been here since 2000, just as an example of that change, we have seen a lot of growth and expansion of our community. Since 2000, we have built approximately 7,500 housing units, 6,500 of those being single-family homes. We also have built about 8 million square feet of commercial, industrial, and office building space within the community, and also created about 7,000 jobs during that last 16 years. We project, based on our past trends, that by 2035 we will grow within not only city limits but the urban growth area another 30,000 people. With that, we'll need about 12,500 more housing units to house people to our community. And then we also will have to expand our commercial, industrial, and office to provide services, employment, and commerce. We probably have to have another 6 million square feet of building space to provide that economic activity. And finally, to help provide community prosperity, adding about another 6,000 to 7,000 jobs, all over the next 20 years of growth that we anticipate within our community.
So I'm Kim Benedict. I'm the Water Resource Specialist for the Water Resource Department of Public Works, and I do all of the education outreach for all of our water utilities, so drinking water, wastewater, stormwater, and I even get to work with our reclaimed water projects. Stream Team is a really cool program that's jointly funded and sponsored by the cities of Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, and Thurston County. It's been around since 1990. The main site that Lacey works at is Woodland Creek Community Park. The city's owned Woodland Creek Community Park since 1991. So in the last 5 years, we've planted over 1,100 trees and shrubs at Woodland Creek Community Park with the help of over 600 volunteers who've donated over 1,100 hours of time. It also, it runs out to Puget Sound through Henderson Inlet, and Henderson Inlet is home to quite a few shellfish growers. Shellfish growers depend on clean water to grow their shellfish and sell their shellfish, so they really rely on us to make sure that Woodland Creek is staying nice and clean as it's running through Lacey. So the Lacey Water Utility works really hard to provide clean, clear water to our citizens. We're able to provide water to Lacey residents at a very low cost. 1 penny will buy you 6 gallons of Lacey drinking water, so we're really proud of our efforts to keep that clean water coming to people's houses every day at a very low cost to them.
I'm Jeanette Sealer. I'm a recreation supervisor, and my responsibilities are all the special events and cultural recreation classes. Parks and recreation in general bring the community together to create strong bonds and memories, bringing families together, keeping kids and adults of all ages active, and learning new skills through classes and trips and tours. It develops community pride and connection through parks and recreation activities. And there was a study done that it costs $30,000 to incarcerate a juvenile offender for 1 year. And if that money were given to Parks and Recreation, what we could do in 1 year is take him to swimming lessons twice a week for 24 weeks, provide lunch and activities each day in the summer, enroll him in 20 different cultural recreation programs and let him play league softball for a season, go to 4 organized trips, and give him 2 weeks of tennis lessons, enroll him in 2 weeks of day camp, let him act in a play, and take 4-week art classes, visit the parks and playgrounds each week, attend summer concerts and movies in the park, play basketball 8 hours a week for 40 weeks, after which we could return $29,125 and one much happier kid. I think the city has really shown that they value parks and recreation. When budgets get tight and things get cut, a lot of times Parks and Recreation is the first thing to go, and they say, well, police, fire, those are the most important things. And they are important, but without Parks and Recreation, it's not cost effective for those groups, because we provide a sense of community and activities for kids and families where when that's gone, people tend to get into more trouble. And our council and our city has put a high priority on Parks and Recreation. And when the recession was going on and things were getting cut, Parks and Recreation was not getting cut by the city. There was a very good sense of value in the city of Lacey for Parks and Recreation.
I'm Roundy. I'm the Executive Director of the Lacey South Sound Chamber, and I have been here for about 2.5 years. So Chamber of Commerce essentially is an organization that helps promote economic well-being in an area, whether that's through, we're a non-political chamber, but if you're a political chamber, you work with legislative, making sure things are passed that help the business community. Our side of it is making sure that the businesses feel like they can do business, like their voice is being heard, but also opportunities, providing them opportunities to grow their business as well, and giving them the resources that they need to do that. We work with a wide variety of businesses, anywhere from Costco down to 1 or 2 people businesses, real estate agents, insurance agencies, restaurants. It's growing a ton. A couple weeks ago we did a tour of the area, but across the freeway of Hawks Prairie, they call it the Gateway Project. They're doing a lot of growth back there, a lot of new businesses going in, big companies coming in that will just provide a lot of jobs for the people that live here. And I see Lacey out passing Olympia soon because of how quickly it's growing. It's amazing. I'm excited to see where Lacey's gonna go because it's been growing so much, and I think the city has some great plans for Lacey, especially with like the Woodland Square Loop projects and things like that. But I think it's gonna be an exciting place to be over the next 5 to 10 years with the business growth, the people coming in. I kind of want to be able to jump into the future a little bit to see how it goes, but it's kind of exciting just to be a part of it.
My name is Jenna Con. I served as a youth representative on the Lacey Library Board. My duties were mostly contributing a youth perspective to the other board members when it was needed. The board members, at least I was working with, were very passionate and driven about what they wanted to do. They really cared about helping others and providing to the public of Lacey. My vision for the future is that it kind of stays the same in terms of its feel, but improves upon itself and updating to the latest it can. For example, the library, I think it's a very well-run system, but it can be improved by increasing its capacity, or it could be renovated to newer furnishings. I could see it heading to possibly a more modern city as the population grows, because I know this area is actually becoming more high demand as people are moving in. And so the more populated it becomes, I guess, the more it'll improve, whether it's the infrastructure or the services the city provides.
My name is Alexandra Rivera. I'm a senior at Pope John Paul II High School, and I am the youth commissioner and vice chair for the Lacey Board of Park Commissioners. I've liked it a lot. The people I've met are really nice. I'm the youngest on the board by quite a few years, so that's interesting sometimes, but everyone's very welcoming and inclusive. So as a youth commissioner, I have to attend all the open and closed meetings where we discuss things like park security measures, budgets, permits, things like that. Basically anything that involves the park or park facilities. And as vice chair, I have to lead the meetings formally whenever the chair is gone. A lot of projects will be going on in different parks, so things will kind of go on for a couple months. We'll be discussing them again in the same meeting, just updates and things like that. And sometimes we have citizens come in and they have public comments that they want to bring up, like there are people who want to have new sports courts, or they have a comment about how something's running or how a program is going. I guess we're just, going in a good direction as long as we keep the same people who are really committed to serving the community and making the city better and improving the lives of the citizens, and as long as we maintain that, we're headed in the right direction.
My name is Scott Spence. I am the Lacey City Manager. So as a city manager is essentially like the chief executive officer. It's essentially a corporate structure. The city council could be thought of as the board of directors, and the mayor is the chairman of the board. And so the city manager's function is to oversee city operations and provide leadership to all the divisions within the city. The city of Lacey has really embraced its military community, and one thing that we've worked very hard is to make sure that there are services for our military veterans as well as active duty. So one of the projects we've been working on, we work very hard to get a Lacey Veterans Center in when we're getting federal resources for really behavioral or any sort of mental health help for our veterans. And we've been working with the federal government to try to actually establish that service within the Lacey hub area. Council, and really kind of a stroke of leadership, said, we need to expand those services so a veteran who comes into that place may not need mental health help, but they may need help in education or housing or employment. And so we've actually created something called the Lacey Veteran Services Hub, and we hope to open that this fall of this year to provide that service to our veteran community. Lacey has seen tremendous growth in the last, really, even since I've been here, since '99, tremendous growth. And I would expect there's going to be continued growth. King County with housing prices, as well as Pierce County, is looking at Thurston County as just a better opportunity for livability, quality of life, as well as more affordable. So I just see Lacey continuing on that trend in terms of a better place to have a home and raise a family. but not just a family, but also to invest in and actually start a business. I think that trend will continue. The city of Lacey was successful in getting an interchange project at exit 111. So you should see in the next couple of years, probably by 2019, a brand new interchange at exit 111. There's some discussion about having a DDI, which is a diverging diamond interchange. So we'll see if those plans come to fruition. It's kind of interesting if you look at our history. We used to be considered a destination, really a recreational destination. And I think Lacey has the elements to be a different kind of destination with its recreational assets. We have one of the largest open space and park system in Thurston County at 1,100 acres. We have the regional athletic complex where people from all over the state come and play fast pitch, softball, baseball, soccer. And so it'd be exciting to expand on that foundation and truly make this a new destination for this region.
My name is Erin Quinn, and I am the museum curator for the City of Lacey and Lacey Museum. City Council just approved the purchase of a new piece of property that was adjacent to a property we already owned, which really maximizes that property, as well as giving us a building that's already built, almost 16,000 square feet, in which we can build a new museum. And we're really out of space here. This building is only just over 1,600 square feet. So that's 10 times as big. So we have a lot of collections that we can't show. We have tens of thousands of images that would be great to start getting out for people to see. I look very forward to having a place where we can have bigger events and where we can really do some educational programming to bring families in and give them something fun to do that's low cost, affordable, but also gives them a really rich educational experience. And I'm looking forward to being able to host school groups. That's one of the things that's really rough here, is that it's very small and hard to accommodate a class size, much less the multiple class size that lots of schools prefer to do when they do their field trips to make them more cost effective. So we'll be able to accept larger groups of kids at the new museum, which is really exciting. So there is plans to put some money into next year's budget, 2017, to start working on the planning process. And it will be through that process where we start to re-envision what we would like the museum to be and how we want that to look and what sort of programming and events we want to have there, because that will then inform what the plans will look like. And I think once we do that, then we'll be able to have a much better sense of what kind of a timeline we're talking about as far as when the museum could open.
Sure. My name is Troy Whoo. I'm the finance director for the city. While we expect pretty significant population growth, which is going to place a higher demand on our services, and the challenge is, of course, finding funding to do that. So I think the city's historic fiscally conservative approach has really served it well. So I see that continuing. That's an approach that the city council has embraced, as well as city staff. So we have done a really, really good job at maintaining services. I think we're one of the few cities that made it through the Great Recession without layoffs and reductions to major programs. I really attribute that to Lacey's conservative approach. Lacey has been able to be progressive and to address a lot of issues that cities of its size aren't able to. I think the future's bright. I think the leadership through the council and executive team, and of course all the employees here at the city, really have a good vision for the city, good values that I think we'll be able to accomplish whatever we want. So yeah, I think the future's bright.
I'm Jason Hearn. I'm Andy Ryder.
I'm Michael Stedman.
I'm Jeff Cadman.
I'm Lenny Greenstein.
I'm Cynthia Pratt.
I'm Virgil Clarkson.
And we are the Lacey City Council.
You expect to see a prosperous, really strong community here in Lacey.
All decisions we make are based on what's best for families in Lacey. And I think we're somewhat unique in that aspect in the region.
There is an atmosphere that's been set in Lacey that has created a legacy, and you are going to continue to see that as the council evolves into the future.
You'll see what I think is a really great opportunity. People will be bringing in more local jobs. It will be a more vibrant type of community, and I look forward to it.
You can look at our relationships with the North Thurston Public Schools, JBLM, the Nisqually Tribe, the commerce, the Chamber of Commerce here in town. And I think the other municipalities and other forms of government regionally here can look to us as a good example of how a city can be ran.
But one of the things that we want to do in conjunction with the local school system is to grow our youth so that, and have jobs here so that they will be educated here and stay here and grow with the community as a whole.
We have a very healthy tree population. We've been part of the Tree City USA for more than 2 decades. And if you walk or drive around Lacey, you'll see that we're a green city and take care of the environment, our streams, and our trees, and our landscaping very well. We have to remember that we're also a center for higher education. City Hall sits right between 2 thriving institutions, one South Puget Sound Community College and their new phenomenal campus, and also St. Martin's University, which was actually one of the very first institutions in our state, literally on the same campus as City Hall. And so those 2 institutions are growing and thriving, and they absolutely will be a big part of our future.
There's a saying, there's a little something for everybody, but here in Lacey, I believe there's a lot of something for everybody.
We are celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, and in that December of 1966, our population, when the charter was signed, was about a little over 7,000. So we've gained over 40,000 in the last 50 years. I would love to see that growth trend continue, but I would hate to see the city become a metropolitan area. I think it can maintain that homey atmosphere, but still grow and attain what it wants to economically.
There's a lot of great projects that we have on the books. We're seeing our new Veterans Services Hub up and started. And so I think we've been very cognizant of being able to change with the times. And I think over the next 50 years, you'll continue to see that happen in Lacey, and will continue to be a great place for families, for businesses, and for our citizens to live.
I think we have some wonderful people that live here within the city of Lacey, especially the senior citizens of our community and our youth of our community, because the senior citizens represent those who have worked and developed Lacey to what it is today, and our youth are the ones that's going to hopefully stay here and see what's going to be tomorrow.
Never a stranger in Lacey, where friendships are meet to an end. A place of compassion and people who are happy to call you a friend. They're happy to call you a friend. If you're planning to make this your hometown, or maybe you're just passing through, you're never a stranger in Lacey, where friendship is real and true. Where friendship is real and true. A friend is someone you count on when things look lonesome and gray. But the friends you meet here in Lacey will brighten the darkest of days. Will brighten the darkest of days. You're never a stranger in Lacey, you're almost a friend from the start. So open yourself to this city, you'll find that it has a big heart. You'll find that it has a big heart.